2025 11th International Conference on Biosignals, Images and Instrumentation. It is an absolute honor to be standing before you as we embark on this insightful journey of innovation, collaboration and scientific excellence. ICPSI has always been a platform that fosters groundbreaking discussions and paves the way for advancements in the field of biomedical engineering. For the first session of the day, it is an honor to introduce Dr. David Bello, a distinguished biomedical engineer and a trailblazer in AI-driven biosignal analysis. With a PhD in biomedical engineering from Nova University of Lisbon, Dr. Bello has made remarkable contribution to deep learning applications in electrocardiography and electromyography. As the founder and CEO of Safe AI in Portugal, he is at the forefront of developing responsible AI solutions for healthcare, ensuring ethical and secure data synthesis. His expertise extends to serving as an AI and biosignal expert at NASA's Frontier Development Lab and leading projects like AI SimForMed under Horizon Europe, which focuses on secure and trustworthy healthcare data systems. Adding to his impressive portfolio, Dr. Bello is also a distinguished visiting faculty at our Department of Biomedical Engineering, where he actively contributes to research and mentorship. Driven by a deep passion for both technology and healthcare, Dr. Bello's work seamlessly integrates AI, biosignal processing, and data privacy to shape the future of biomedical research and healthcare. Let's extend a very warm welcome to Dr. David Bello.
Good morning, everyone. I guess some of you already know me. This is my third time in India, third time also in this conference. I usually always get in touch with responsible AI topics, right? And I always try to demystify what is AI, okay? This time I wish to go a step further and present a project that I'm planning with Hugo Viegas. He's a Portuguese medical doctor in a city near Lisbon called Setúbal, and he's head of the interns in the hospital of Setúbal. That is a major hospital in the south region of Lisbon, okay? And this project came about all the experience I have gained. I have been always in touch with healthcare professionals in a very close range. So there were a lot of healthcare professionals, not only healthcare professionals, but also data scientists that work with those medical partners. So I had a lot of classified information that I wasn't supposed to know. So I will not say exactly where this information came from, but most of them isn't in literature, right? It came from direct knowledgeable insights from real people, okay? And sometimes they are very context specific. It's called foundation, and I will try to understand, show you why it's called foundation. So some of the things that we wish to tackle with this project is improve the health outcomes, okay? Everyone wants this, right? Patient and citizen engagement, okay? So this is something that people should be aware of, that medical literacy e-literacy is very high, okay? Especially with people from other areas and also elderly people. At least in Europe, we have a very aged population, right? So there are a lot of issues regarding this medical illiteracy, okay? Alignment with EU policies. The EU policies try to make like use of the good sense of respecting the patients and also the doctors, right? Also work on prevention and economic efficiency, because I will tell you soon enough, but one of the major issues is that millions are spent into software or technologies that are not actually used, you know? Like very big machines in the middle of the hospital that people don't know they exist. Software solutions that are just too complicated to use or just too slow to be used. So there is a lot of things regarding that, okay? So for me, what are, I hope you guys can read, nevertheless I will say. So what are the real healthcare challenges that we actually tackled? So one of the things that I've always been hearing, at least in Europe, okay, especially in Portugal, is that hospitals have been using the same system for over 20 years with no major improvements. Okay, so some of the issues that I'm going to talk about already exist for a long time, but they were never properly tackled. They tried, but it actually never was accomplished, right? So there is a significant deterioration in the last decade, making unsustainable. What do I mean by this? For example, computer systems are very old. So every time a doctor has to click in the on button, right? It takes a very long time, and sometimes it's not connected to the network. So you cannot access to the internet, and then you cannot send emails, and you cannot do this. So they spend like, I don't know, sometimes 1-2 hours to try just to write a report, okay? Only because the computer systems, right, they have not been, especially in the public sector, they were not updated, okay? Excessive paperwork. I think this is quite normal, unfortunately, okay? So there is a lot of bureaucracy, manual document transfer, signatures, phone calls, and emails. And I can talk about this, and I will, okay? Healthcare professionals facing burnout. This has always been known, but what sometimes people forget is that during COVID, there was a massive workload within the medical staff, and they never recovered from it. So they never got more vacations, they never had more time to rest. So after COVID, there is seen a major outcome on this overburn, right? So if medical doctors have major issues regarding their mental health, then there is a direct impact on how they treat patients, right? And it's not because they are bad people, it's only because they are very tired, and it's very hard to make decisions when someone is really tired and cannot. And I talked with, I have personal friends that are medical doctors, and they all face this right now, okay? So extremely long waiting lines, especially in the urgency ward. This is very, very well known. And also delayed treatments, particularly for critical patients, where patients sometimes wait 3 years for surgery, right? And sometimes there are critical surgeries, okay? So, why is that, right? And the thing is that, in truth, no one knows, because there are always different answers from different people, okay? Real-world examples. So I'll try to get some real-world examples for patient transfers. For example, medical doctors and nurses always have to communicate by phone, right? Because they don't have a proper communication system. And what they do is that they have to call several times to check if the room is ready, if the room was cleaned. So there is a specific procedure in preparing the rooms to attend people that stay in the hospital, okay? So they have to make sure that all the steps have been made, okay? And for that, they always have to call each other, because sometimes, and most of the times, they are far away in terms of space, right? They have to catch an elevator, or they have to go some stairs, or they have even to go to the other side of the hospital in order to talk with different services, okay? And especially in internal medicine, that deals with all the types of diseases, okay? And then they may be transferred to other department wards. This can be quite tricky, okay? Patient identification. One interesting fact that no one knows, or at least is not very well spoken, I think that this is something that at least I was not aware of, is that they lose patients. They actually lose patients several times, and it's not like once, twice, it's several times, especially with aged people with dementia. They just go out the door, go outside. There was a story that was public in Portugal, that there was an old guy that was in the middle of a forest. Okay, crazy, yeah? And he just escaped from the ward where he was staying, sleeping. So he was being monitored and just left. Okay. There are also people in the urgency wards that don't exactly know where to go, and the doctors are looking for them and they cannot find them, because they may be in this room, that room, the other room, right? So even young people may get lost in the middle of the hospital, and they take a long time looking for them. Medical doctors, nurses, they don't have a face, so sometimes they have to call for the name, right? And people do not respond. Some people do not have good ears, so sometimes it's really hard. The person may be right there, but if someone's calling and he's having ear problems, he won't listen, right? So he can't respond. There are some ways of tackling this, such as monitors displaying the next patient and etc. But if they are not in the right place, right, then people won't see properly where they should go. Okay, paper waste, right? So nowadays in a digital world, where we can have fair safely software, there is a lot of 100 pages printed daily for patient records, transport requests, and exam requests. Most of them are necessary. Of course, that there is a lot of doctors that really want to look things at paper, but not all of them. Not all of them need that, okay? Sometimes they just need to look at the screen and do some inferences, but normally they have to print out everything, okay? Especially on hospitals that don't have like a proper central system within the hospital, right? They have to print to show to the other doctor that is in the next door, but it's from another department, okay? So they have to print to show them. For example, this can be very problematic, okay? This kind of security issues and also bureaucracy. Something that I didn't mention in bureaucracy is that doctors always have to sign papers, okay? And most of the papers, they don't know what they are signing. Mostly it's like privacy concerns, mostly it's about lawsuit something, or NDAs or whatever, they don't know. They just sign because they don't want to waste time. The thing is that in order for them to sign, they have to, most of them have to cross the whole hospital, go to the top floor, and waste a lot of time just to sign things. So what they do sometimes, they delay the signature of things because they don't want to be bothered with this. Nowadays, at least in Portugal, for other systems, we have our mobile phones that have, for example, a system that you just use the fingerprints and your mobile phone in order to authenticate and guarantee that is you, right? So if doctors could just do that for all the documents, they would spend less mental space in thinking that they have to sign, and they would lose lots of logistics just to travel within the hospital, okay? And there is also something restructuring in Portugal right now. There is like before the clinics and the medical centers were somehow autonomous, but not right now. They are trying to centralize all the clinics that sometimes are very spread away and don't have a proper software, and they have to report to the main hospital. So they have lots of issues regarding this because most of them don't even know who's in charge of what. Okay, and this can create chaos that limits the time that people have to spend actually treating the patients. For example, for cardiovascular diseases, there is a delayed recognition of cardiac arrest. So sometimes there is failure to recognize cardiac arrest promptly because normally the doctors are not always in top of the patients, right? Sometimes they're family members or even nurses, and sometimes it's hard to understand if they're having cardiac arrest. And just a few minutes and the person is dead. Like this, kaput. And ineffective chest compressions. So sometimes, even if there are trained people, namely paramedics, when they are in the ambulance, right? They try to do CPR, but sometimes they are not doing it properly. Okay, and that also increases the risk of cardiac arrest. Delayed fibrillation, delay in delivering defibrillation for shockable reasons, okay? So what happens is that, just for you to know, that there is a workflow, and it depends mostly from hospital to hospital, but it's a very concrete workflow in which stage of a cardiac arrest, okay? So there is a proper workflow. And during this workflow, calling, okay, is the corridor open? Can we pass on is there any beds available? Is there any defibrillator available? Is there any, how can we get, So there is all this information, crumpled up. Always takes lots of time that is actually life or death situation. Okay, they are dealing this within stress and they are losing time with this kind of thing. So there is a lot of this going on. Okay. So the thing about this is that AI is being employed to hand decisions, right? Like for prevention, for classification of diseases, for whatever, like for biosignal processing and decision, and that is wonderful. But what we must not forget is that there is a lot of healthcare facilities that do not have proper databases. Okay? So some of the hospitals that I've been to, and Dr. Hugo can agree with me, that sometimes they even only have an Excel sheet. And they are communicated through WhatsApp with images of X-rays and whatever in order to speed up the process, And even if there is data, even if there is databases, okay, normally they are unorganized, so there are billions and billions and trillions of unused data, right? Fragmentation and limited basic systems. Okay, so for example, in Portugal, there was a time where we were implementing a lot of softwares inside the medical, trying to solve a lot of issues, right? Nowadays, they have like 4 different softwares that they have to log in. Imagine this when they have poor connection in a poor computer with low RAM, that they have to have like 4 different, and they have to fill on the 4 different things with repeated information, right? Sometimes if you are in a hospital, you go to the reception desk and they ask you a lot of questions, and they go to the cardiac, and then there is a nurse also asking the same questions, and then the medical doctor comes again, and then there is an internal doctor, they have to fill in all. So this is a repetitive process, okay? This is something that happens for a long time, that software systems try to engage, even in public, even in private institutes, this happens, okay? Complexity of different pathways. What I was trying to say, that even in the same computer, there are different fragmented databases, okay, that do not connect with each other. Complexity of different pathways and logistic limitations, okay? So sometimes this is about, sometimes it's just showing in the screen which is the next patient. Only this would solve a lot of problems, okay? Or sometimes it's just that the screen is not placed in the right place, so they have to go back and look at the screen. So sometimes it's not intuitive, so you look at the screen and don't understand what's there. So there is a lot of complexity involved that could be easy, it could be easier for everyone. Lack of regulation, ethical and secure processing, okay? WhatsApp messaging, for example. This limits its implementation in macromanagement, and it's harder in micromanagement. Macromanagement in terms of the healthcare system, okay, as a whole, or the whole hospital as a whole. Micromanagement in terms of department-wise, okay, where they have to share information between each other. Is AI able to help solving these issues? Yes, but with the help of humans, okay? Only AI cannot okay, let's do an AI for this. No, you have to understand what you are doing. You have to talk with human beings. I'm sorry, okay? I know most of you choose engineering so that you could stay in your desk and not talk with anyone and etc. But human engagement is very important to understand exactly what they need, and not only that, understand how you can question people, okay? We need to go back to the foundations, okay? AI can help AI is so advanced right now that you can use it to build the foundations again properly. So the idea behind this project is also improving workflow in each stage, okay? So there is planning. This is like the main blocks that I like to talk in terms of responsible AI. I always talk about them. There is the planning, the data, processing, modeling, and deployment, okay? Planning is about before doing whatever. Data is about how can we manage data. Processing is processing that data, analysis, and etc. Modeling is about do models in order to interpret results or make decisions. And deployment is after doing the models. Is not you have to think that your AI system won't work in real world. So you have already to think how you are going to solve the problems, the real world problems, and how you can update the models in order to make it actually work, okay? So found is fostering optimization, understanding, and informed decisions. So research in field of medical and human-centered design teams, centered in patient and department workflows, okay? So actually try to understand what is going on here. And most of the times you may ask healthcare professionals, right? What solutions do you want, or what do you think that could be improved? They won't answer you properly, okay? But if you ask them, what are the issues that you have in day-to-day life, they won't stop talking. You know? They will complain like a lot. You cannot imagine the amount of information that you can get only asking, okay, so what issues do you have from day-to-day work? Like, what is the most bothersome thing that you do? You know, what is the most boring thing that, and what does frustrate you, okay? Dealing with human emotions, okay? It triggers a reaction, and that reaction goes like, they will tell you about everything, okay? Like, analysis of task efficiency. So there is actually a very much need to go into the field, understand exactly what's happening, But that is not enough because people have their ideas, everyone has their own ideas, okay, of what the real issue is, but sometimes it is incorrect, right? What we need is measurable systems in order to tackle this, okay? For example, having mobile phones, so somehow look at the amount of mobile phones in a room and see how everything flows, like try to understand how many calls there is per day, right? Trying to understand what are the movements, the real movements, okay? And with that, analysis of bottlenecks, okay? Understand where is actually happening the issue. Sometimes it's just a doctor that is ill, is sick, is feeling sick, so he's attending the patients more, it takes more time for him, right? But it's okay, doctors can be sick again, so try to redistribute the work, stuff like this. You never know what is the real bottleneck. Using AI to facilitate already common procedures, okay, so sometimes nowadays a disruptive system, I don't think that is the best way to do that, because as doctors don't have time, nurses don't have time, they don't have time to learn something new. They were always complaining that they would be do courses and etc. They don't gain anything from that courses because they don't have time. They have to deal with a patient that is almost dying. They have to deal with a person and shower them because it's late for them to take their medication, like real world right now issues. They don't have time to deal with this. Okay, so the less invasive, the best. Optimizing repetitive process with AI, okay? For example, digitalization of documents, right? Or communicating with colleagues, or there is a lot of repetitive process that happens that could be easing out with already existing systems, okay? Optimizing time in digitalization process, patient monitoring and anomaly detection to facilitate data analysis. So one of the things that were said yesterday is that we are tending to go for remote systems, right? So there will be data recording 24 per 24, right? 24/7. It's impossible for a doctor to analyze that. What they see is a signal completely clamped, and they just look at this, okay, I don't want to see this. It's like they won't use that information. The only way to solve this is to understand where in the time series they have to pay attention, right? Because 24/7 is too much, right? Disease prevention and detection for AI algorithms, right? So everyone wants this, but only after properly doing the correct data, label the data efficiently, and also try to optimize these systems, okay? And deployment is, we want to help healthcare institutions with similar issues as Portuguese healthcare systems, national healthcare systems, to use AI in fundamental level. So India also has a public healthcare system, right? So most of the times the issues may be the same because they don't have money to spend, they have issues regarding, they are always busy doing stuff, they have to take care of patients, so sometimes this, so we have to look into the fundamentals, okay? So the end results will be reduce administrative costs, reduce morbidity and mortality, streamline and increase the number of monitored patients, increase patient flow, restructure public and private healthcare data systems, integrate these systems in already existing systems, so it's a non-invasive approach. That is like the most important thing of all, otherwise it won't be used. reduce the number of patients with severe healthcare issues, okay? In the end, save lives. That is the main goal, right? That is why we are here. We don't aim to increase the accuracy of this algorithm. What we want, the expected outcome, is to save lives. And for that, we need to create proper medics. We want to create better conditions for patients, better conditions for doctors, right? Reduce the stress levels in the workplace, try to make everything easier, less frustration, less mental space used for us dealing with administrative issues and stuff like that, okay? So the solution that we brought was based with, led by clinician and final users, so engage everyone, right? Knowledge of the real flows to optimize, okay? So when I'm saying real flows, you can look into literature, was this the workflow of whatever, and look into the documents, but each hospital, each department works in different ways. Okay, so there is these sometimes tiny details that make all the difference. So it's imperative to look into each case separately. Okay, even if it takes, we can have like a general approach, right? But it's very important to look case by case. Importance of safe AI and ethics, respecting the patients, okay? I won't give you a lecture about this, but this is very important nowadays, okay? Validated ideas need to be improved. So there are already ideas going on. And what do I mean by that? Is that doctors are trying to learn informatics to do parallel work that the current healthcare system or software do not provide, okay? They have their own Excel sheet that they try to, and they share within their colleagues in order to control rooms. They also use that sheet in order to do some inside information that they don't want to display to the public, okay, because it's very inside information, and it's okay, it's private. Okay, so there is a lot of things that they are implementing in parallel, okay? So there are already things that are being used to solve the real issues, and if they are doing this, it's because there are no real solutions, okay? I know already some doctors that are specializing in software because they don't have solutions. And people do not provide them solutions, proper solutions. Okay, and the foundation platform would be like having some sort of a platform with data management, semi-automatic data storage with existing AI systems, anonymization of data, having model AI systems integration, and use cases to provide data. Okay, so the idea is to have a sort of system. This must be like a weird, like geometric form. But the idea here is to understand that everything is interconnected, okay? So if we have like a modular approach in which we have pre-processing tools, if we have machine learning tools for each specific case, and try to combine them because it's possible. You can see image generation, right? That you write a text and you make an image out of that text. So this multi-model, it's not a model. It's several models combined. Large language model, image generation, also image detection, okay? So this is not one model, it's several models that are just clumped together and trained together in order to have this kind. So this multi-model approach with the modular system is possible, and it's being done with OpenAI and etc. So they take advantage of this. Not exactly for healthcare systems, because healthcare system is a very, very specific area that you need context information. And sometimes when I hear about in startups, it's that a lot of AI is being done wrong, giving a really bad name to AI. Okay, so doctors say or whatever, this does not work, this is horrible, right? But sometimes it's only because it's not being properly implemented. For example, one use cases would be patient workflow if they had some sort of RFID, and we use that to track the movement of the patients. And if the doctor has permission for this, it could track one patient. That would like limit a lot of issues. Okay, like a lot, right? Looking for the patient would be like much easier. And then also determine, for example, so in the winter and the summer there are major flows that are different, right? There is a lot of people in the urgency wards, and the most interesting thing is that everyone knows that there is a lot of flu during December, January, February, but every year they don't know about it. Like the administrative staff, normally the administrative force say, oh, we were not expecting this, you know? And then they try to solve the issue, and then the solution comes in April or May when everything is solved. You know, there is no longer this kind of flows. So also, digitalization documents using a phone, right? You can just go nowadays, you can go to a text, take a picture, select the text, copy paste, you know? Why is this not being used, right, to digitalize documents? Even it's very easy to just say, I know this is the name, someone could tell, okay, this is the name, this is the report, right? And it goes directly to a database, seeming just automatically in the proper places, right? Common note sheets, handover sheets for doctors and nurses filled by AI speech to text. So they always have to write a report. Always have to write a report. How many of you did not try to write a report and you go and see a blank page and you don't know how to start, right? And you have to remember what was said in the class or what was said. Okay, nowadays it's easier for you because you have access to these tools that help you out, right? But the doctors, they don't have that. And so why not having like, while they are speaking to the patient, there was some kind of speak, and they would take like notes, right? And then there would be another AI that would write a summary, so that the doctor could just add it out instead of writing new information. Something that is very important, okay? Large language models are not gods, okay? They make mistakes, so it's always very important that the nurses or the doctors rewrite whatever is written, okay? Accents are also an issue. And in Portugal, we have a lot of different accents. It's a small country, but we have a lot of different accents. I have my phone in English, American English. So when I talk Portuguese, if I talk with a Portuguese accent, but if I talk in an American accent, then it works properly. Crazy, yeah? So imagine text to speech. So there is some issues also applying this, but it can be solved only with the right data. Voice commands to request internal and external exam, etc. Real-time tracking of patients' conditions. We all talked about this yesterday. Clinical discharge, administrative discharge, solution. You know, so there is a lot of things that we already have tools to solve this. Okay, we just need to clump them together. So this already, I already talked about this. For example, instead of using, we all have smartphones, okay? We all use them. It's okay, it's not a bad thing. So if we don't have computers that work properly, why don't we use just our mobile phones and do most of the work while we are with the patient, while we are taking care, right? So we don't rely that much on your working memory. You can just have your mobile phone and write. This is common procedure. Why not use it also in the hospitals, okay? With the proper secure systems, of course. App for recording vital signs and symptoms, statistical analysis with trend detection, conversational analysis for decompensation detection, quality metrics for provide. So there is a lot of automatic questionnaire responses with prompts. This is normal questionnaires that patients answer after a treatment or whatever, or even before a treatment. Sorry. So there is a lot of things that can be done. Sorry? Thank you. So this is an example made by Reconcrete Medicine. Hugo Viegas learned his software engineering. He's not very proficient, but he does the job. And currently he made like a very simple app, a very, very, very simple app that helps a lot, but a lot, the cardiologists' work. Like a very, very simple app. And we actually were reached out by pharmaceutical industries, and they were very, very interested in this app. Okay? And the idea would be to even improve and make everything more seamlessly. So the thing is that in order for us to have, or the doctors to have, or whatever, in order to make simple solutions and intuitive solutions for everyone to have, there must be complex systems working in the background. Most of the times it's like this, right? So if you come inside or in a room, right, or in the toilet or whatever, and suddenly the lights go up, even now we have already sensors for that and easy to use. There was always a process, a very complex process in electronics, and etc. in order to make that work. Also in controlling where is the threshold of movement or not, you know. So there is a lot of complexity that people do not realize, okay? So I will jump this, so there are also reports with audio. So I hear a lot this, sorry for not agreeing with everyone that says AI is the future. Is not the future, is the present. Having your mobile phone and having your laptop, you are filled with AI the moment you look at it. The moment you put your finger to digitalize and understand, the moment you use photos to check for dogs or cats, AI is permeated everywhere, just by living, okay? A lot of AI systems are currently making in the background, because AI exists for a long time, it's nothing new. People are just now discovering AI, but it exists in a long time. So everything, most everything is permeated with AI, okay? And there are already solutions that can be translated to healthcare, okay? We just need to connect. We need to connect with the medical doctor. We have to connect with the nurses. We have to connect to the lady that is waiting in the urgency wards. We need to connect with the guy that is paraplegic and cannot go up the stairs. We need to connect with invisible people that cannot perceive the space. We need to connect with people that could not speak or hear, right? We need to connect with everyone. People that are very technological, people that are low technological, okay? One of the issues in implementing solutions for elderly people is that they don't know to use mobile phones. Okay, simple as that. Everyone is talking, oh, I'm going to make an app for this and making an app for that, right? But the elderly cannot use mobile phones the most times. So currently we are looking for financial supports. I hope you students want to provide me with financial solutions. Joking, okay. This is just to say that we tried to submit this to investments, but we were trying to get a hold of pharmaceutical industries, and the issue with pharmaceutical industries is that they take 1 year to answer, and so when we try to submit, it's already 6 months later, right? So there is always difficult, but will be other ways of doing this, and we are trying. Sorry for the silly ends, but it's just like to lighten up the moods. Okay. Thank you for your attention. I hope that I enlightened you some way. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed it. Okay. Any questions? Yes.
In healthcare domain, and how good do you think that we are responsible in generating synthetic data?
I can answer that. It's like it's still in the preliminary. Okay, we are. What I think is that we are way behind the common generated images, if even text. Right? If you ask ChatGPT for a very specific thing, he won't answer properly. Right? So what I do think is that we need to study it and make it responsible and track. And so we are in a very early stages. So, but it's something that is going to happen. Because if we are dealing with data that only have some sort of, for example, if you have like 3 or 4 days with asymptomatic data and then an epileptic patient have a seizure, right? We have like only a bit small sample, right? From 3, 4, 5 people. And if we don't have a means of making accurate and good synthetic data, then the models will be biased and they won't do things properly, right? The thing about, for example, there is a lot of questions about diversity, and people always think about the color of the skin or if it's male and female, right? But there is a lot more that we need to think about, right? The people that are paraplegic, right? The people that are invisual, the people that have issues with, they don't have, they have issues in terms of neurodivergency, they have issues in processing thoughts, okay? And there are a lot more than we think, but they are still less than normal. Thank you for your question.
So you are in a phase of searching for investment, and you mentioned more the pharmaceutical companies, but where do you think that this investment can come forward? Where is the people that will be more adequate to sense this pain and help on financing the project?
The thing is that it's amazing because all the pharmaceutical companies were very receptive. They were very interested in this because this is a pain that affects all, right? I only mentioned the pharmaceutical companies because at the time we were trying to go through EU investments that IHI, do you know IHI? IHI is like a way of funding where they need to have a part of the investment from a pharmaceutical industry. And I did not get any focused but I think that this year we will have AD, such as IS Informat, that they are going to promote things about that. In terms of financial, who do we want to talk? I'm not sure. to be honest, because everyone feels the pain, but not everyone is flexible enough to do this with financial support, especially in Portugal that we have a very low risk standards to invest. Thank you. Okay, so I guess that we may pass to the others, or... Okay. There's... Okay.
So I was just wondering, how do we convince all like the major healthcare providers to adapt the new systems? Because that takes time from the doctors to like learn the new UI. So sometimes, at least from the staff that I've talked to, they feel like it's not worth spending that time initially to learn everything. So what do you say?
Exactly. So this is the main issue, right? The mentality. So, but nevertheless, there are like 1 or 2 doctors. You only need 1, okay? And if you develop systems for that doctor that are not invasive, as I mentioned, when I say invasive, it's not sticking electrodes in the skin. I'm talking about invasive in terms of the learning curve, okay? Make everything more seamlessly, right? So making everything easier, intuitive, and etc. Because there are ways of doing this kind of process using design thinking, for example. And the thing is exactly that. If you have 1 doctor that believes that it can improve their life, they are willing to sacrifice some of their time to help you to build the system. And the idea is that if their colleagues see that, well, you do that really fast, what is happening, right? You get a much broader sense of. To be honest, in Hospital Setúbal, there was a very, Hugo Viegas, the doctor, was very much into developing this kind of software. So we did a lot of ideas and we talked with a lot of people that were very, very apprehensive. But since it was a medical doctor with already some prestige, and since the way that we talked with everyone, I saw the structures break in people's faces. They suddenly started to get, so it's not something that you have to hammer down, It's something that happens naturally, and it should be like that. I'm not that prone to very disruptive systems, even though I do understand and they should exist. But sometimes disruptions need to follow a path, step by step, right? For it to be properly, build the proper foundations. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for your attention.
As we conclude this thought-provoking session, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. David Bello for sharing his invaluable insights on improving healthcare with artificial intelligence. Thank you, sir. I kindly invite Dr. Hugo Gamboa to present a memento to Dr. David Bello. Thank you, sir, for doing the honors. Now, moving on to the second session of the day, it brings me immense pleasure to welcome Dr. Avinash Singh, a visionary leader who has significantly contributed to brain-computer interfaces, AI in neuroscience and cognitive technology. Dr. Avinash Singh is a senior lecturer at the School of Computer Science and the Australia AI Institute at the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia. He is recognized for pioneering work in neuroadaptive BCI systems, blending cognitive neuroscience with AI to explore cognitive functions and brain dynamics. Dr. Singh serves as co-chair of the IEEE Neuroethics Framework for the Workplace and as an expert advisor for UNICEF and the Centre of Neurotechnology and Law, UK. In 2021, he received the Google TensorFlow Faculty Award for his groundbreaking work. Dr. Singh completed his PhD in computer science in 2019 at UTS, collaborating with institutions such as the Technical University of Berlin, the University of California, San Diego, and the UGS Army Research Lab. Prior to his doctorate, he earned a master's in software systems from Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani, India. With numerous accolades, successful research funding initiatives, and a robust publication record, Dr. Singh continues to shape the future of neuroadaptive BCI systems and AI-driven neurosciences. We are truly privileged to have you with us today, sir. Without further ado, let's extend a warm virtual welcome to Dr. Avinash Singh, who will be joining us online to share his valuable insights.